What's up, nerds? Alright, so if you follow the UFC at all, you probably saw, or at least heard about, one of the most boring title fights in recent memory take place over the weekend between Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus du Plessis, where Khamzat more or less hugged and kneed the thigh his way to being a world champion. Let's get it right out of the way at first. I'm not saying it wasn't a dominant performance. It clearly was. However, that fight split people into two camps. Those claiming it to be a boring fight, and those who are emphasizing how dominant it was, and thus it is entertaining. Now, a big narrative being pushed by that latter group is that, well, if you don't like grappling, just go watch boxing or Muay Thai. The reason I'm making this video is because I'm so sick of seeing that take. Even Demetrius Johnson, God bless him, was saying on his reaction,
if you guys don't want to watch grappling and wrestling and jiu-jitsu, don't watch UFC. Go watch One Championship, go watch Glory, go watch kickboxing, go watch Muay Thai. It's very simple. You guys are complaining about something that it's a very simple problem to fix. For example, let's say Khamzat's about to fight again. You don't want to watch his style. All you gotta do is go like this. You see this button right here? It's called off button. You go like this, you go off.
And I agree with that part at the end there, honestly, but it validated this camp of people. You know, they love using the argument, oh, it's mixed martial arts, and people just hate when they mix the martial arts. And sure, there's people out there that do react that way anytime they see a grappling exchange, but it's not the whole truth, obviously. Myself and many other people enjoy grappling and have been watching MMA long enough to acknowledge that this was a dominant performance. However, dominant doesn't inherently mean entertaining. I don't know why this is getting so confused. The way people are making this argument makes it seem like nobody has ever complained about striking being boring. They do. Look at Lerone Murphy's last fight, or his last couple of fights. I was straight up dreading him being the co-main event spot because I thought it was just going to be another one of those. But look how much the script has flipped based off his spinning elbow KO that was fucking awesome. And now people are wanting him to get a fucking title shot. It's crazy how much that changes with that. Look at a fight like Izzy versus Romero, or Izzy versus Cannonier, or Izzy versus Vettori 2. I am trying to drag Izzy's name a little bit, but not entirely. But those are just largely stand-up fights that most people in general consider boring. It's not just reserved for wrestling. It's just wrestling and grappling tend to lead to boring fights more often when they get dragged out in situations like this. However, anytime someone is clearly trying to make progress to get a finish, get some damage off, the vast majority of the fan base can acknowledge and appreciate it. Yes, people will always act more hyped in general for a knockout, something crazy like a spinning elbow or a flying knee, but they're also impressed with effective grappling. It's just that the way this played out was just very unfortunate. You gotta also take into context that we had two back-to-back spinning elbow KOs, and then this, one of the most hyped fights of the entire year, plays out the way it does. It's just a shame. Let's also get it out there. This isn't just Khamzat's fault. I'm not just shitting on him. He's clearly a tremendous fighter and very, very dominant in what he did here. It's very impressive. The other half of it is Dricus not being able to get up. That's also his fault. I'm not just saying this is a Khamzat thing. However, I do think he also probably held back a little bit in terms of trying to progress or get a finish in the case that Dricus did survive and he didn't want to risk gassing out. I think this was more him forcing himself to pace himself to get to a decision so he could win in this fashion. Not to say he wasn't going for a finish at all, obviously, but even Arman pretty much confirmed this plan in an interview afterwards. Again, it was very dominant, one of the most dominant performances in recent memory. But on the flip side of that, it was fucking boring. You just can't deny that. And I'm sick of seeing people act as though it's not boring. I think there's just a certain sector of UFC MMA fans that want to feel superior and more hardcore, so they take to this idea that something that the general population would consider boring is actually super entertaining because they understand it better on a deeper level, when it's just not the case, dude. It's just the watch value is not there, and it doesn't automatically make you hardcore for acting that way. Just because something is dominant doesn't equate it to being entertaining, alright? You can appreciate it and also say it was boring. Think about it like some nerd scholar or mathematician showing off some theoretical physics equation they figured out. It's impressive, sure, but don't lie, you're fucking bored looking at it and hearing them talk about it. And as for the take of, if you don't appreciate it, just go watch boxing. First of all, are you going to say that you don't like knockouts? Are you going to actually look at me in the eye that I don't have on screen right now and tell me that you do not like knockouts? Everybody prefers knockouts. Don't fucking lie to me, dude. Don't be a nerd. Second of all, I watch boxing. Boxing is not perfect either. They fucking hug all the time in that too. So maybe if you like hugging so much, you should go watch that. Or if you like grappling so much, you should go watch jiu-jitsu, or wrestling, or WWE wrestling. Or there's certain categories on the hub that you might enjoy. I don't know. Point being, it is mixed martial arts. People like seeing them mix the martial arts. Wet blanketing is not mixing the martial arts that much. That's where people get really frustrated. Anyways, very quick video today. I wanted to get that off my chest. Fuck this whole narrative of, oh, just go watch boxing if you don't like grappling. People like grappling. People don't like smother grappling. There's a difference, and there's a clear distinction between dominant and entertaining. That's my whole point. Goodbye. Subscribe to join Frog Gang.